Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, world. How are we all today? Welcome to Diary of a Cocaine Addict. This is my weekly podcast where I am sharing content and hope and resources and inspiration for anyone that has ever suffered an addiction or anyone that is currently going through one and is looking to, make the changes that are going to change their life for the better. So I just want to quickly try and share this to my personal profile at the same time, which I don't know if I can do. Bear with me a second. Okay, I will do that later. Let's not worry about it. Okay, or Steve, if you're listening, do you mind sharing it to my personal profile if you can? So welcome to Diary of a Cocaine Addict. So those of you that are new in my world, you may not know anything about me. Well, how would you? You're new in my world. So I am Sarah. I am your host of this show, and I am the Recovery Witch. I have actually been in recovery myself now for 15 months, and I have released myself from cocaine addiction, which has been the best thing I've ever done, aside from having my son. And it's been a journey. We all know that life is a journey, right? But recovery is a massive, massive part of my journey, and one that is so significant because it's basically my life's work now, right? So I've managed to find a way to turn all of those years of pain and of chaos and of frustration and hurt and letting people down and all of the things into something that's meaningful and important and helpful and, gives direction and purpose to so many others, not just myself. Now, this show is very much a place of real talk, right? I'm kind of no fluff, tell it how it is. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. It's not always easy. And it's not always sunshine and lollipops, right? And those of you that have listened to this show before will have heard me share ups, downs, and everything in between. And so today, I don't know what I came on here to talk about. I quite often come on here unplanned because I know that I speak the best when I am intuitively guided, when I just say what comes into my head, what gets put on my heart. And all I have to do is really show up for it. So that is what I'm doing. And it's taken some time to get to this place where I'm confident in doing so. Because, our brains like to know what the hell is going on, don't they? But quite often I just kind of go for it and see what comes out of my mouth. Now, this week has been, how to even explain this week? The last 2 weeks, in fact, have been testing, shall we say, is probably the best way that I can put it. Now, what's been going on is that I was invited, I am invited to be a speaker at the 12th World Congress on Drug Addiction, right? Which is massive, right? This is no small kind of coup. And I'm just like, holy fuck, how did I get this? Not responsibility, but like this opportunity, like really me, what? And so what's happened is my brain has been frantically trying to self-sabotage me, right? And keep me safe, because that's what our brains do, right? Our brains keep us safe, which is really helpful if you've got a saber-toothed tiger in the vicinity, but, not so much if you're preparing to speak at an international event. And so what I mean by my brain trying to keep me safe is that it's been really trying to draw me back into addiction, right? It has been giving me all of the reasons and all of the excuses and really shouting at me, the voice of addiction, I call it, because it's your own voice in your own head, but it's not really your voice. It's addiction saying to you all of the things, all of the reasons why you should go back. Yeah. It's been telling me things like, well, you deserve it, Sarah. It's been telling me things like, oh, bollocks to all this. It's been telling me things like, it's been so long, it's not going to hurt to just do it once, right? It's been telling me things like, you'll do this better if you get on it, right? And all of that is a crock of shit. That's the truth, yeah? It's a crock of shit. And I recognise that now, where previously I would have just listened to that voice, assumed it to be right, especially as it's in my own voice, and I would have acted on it, right? And so this has been a real learning curve for me, these last 2 weeks especially, because I've been kind of able to observe myself feeling fearful, feeling the cravings, feeling the desire to go back to where I came from, because it's what I know, right? And therefore it's a safe place. Is it safe to stuff, like to ingest like grams and grams of cocaine? No, right? Is it a good idea? No, right? And is it going to get me where I want to go? Absolutely freaking not. But is it a life that I know and that I'm familiar with? Yeah, it is. And therefore, in that sense, it holds an element of safety as far as my brain is concerned. And so it's no wonder that when I've got this big international speaking gig to prepare for, that suddenly my brain is like, we could just get on it. This feels a bit uncomfortable. We don't do uncomfortable. We know how to deal with uncomfortable feelings. We don't have to feel them. We don't like feeling them. Let's just run like fuck, right? And that's the truth. That's what's been going on for me. And I think some of you will be able to resonate with that, right? It may not be a speaking gig that you're preparing for. Perhaps you're starting to gain clients in your business. Perhaps the relationship is starting to improve with your spouse or with your parent. Perhaps you're suddenly making more money or you've got more money in the bank, yeah? And all of a sudden the fear kicks in. It's like, well, what do I do with this? What if people start to expect things of me? What if people think I know what I'm doing? What if I'm asked to do things I don't know how to do? What if is what goes on in our brain, which is what immediately triggers the whole like, let's just go and get on it response, right? In my experience and in my opinion, right? And that is exactly what's been going on for me, as I say. So what I'm sharing with you today is literally what has been going on for me in my own brain in the last 2 weeks. And I know that I'm not the only one that thinks this way, right? So recovery has really been a place where I have learned to A, observe those thoughts as they're happening, to B, learn to ignore them and recognize them for what they are, which is A, just thoughts and not facts, and B, lies, right? And it's also been an exercise in learning to create new beliefs, new actions, new behaviors, new thoughts, and new ways of responding. Now, the way that this urge to go back to where I came from has been manifesting in my life is that it's been making me really aggy, right? I've been a fucking bit of a nightmare to be around the last couple of weeks, if I'm honest, yeah? Because I have felt this thing going on in the back of my brain and this voice just piping up at me and, you know, the push pull of going back to who I was versus being who I am. And it's so easy over there, but it's hard over here. And, you know, this whole, the polarity between the two opposites, right? And it's exhausting. It's exhausting trying to stay on track and to maintain sobriety and to keep moving in the direction that you know that you want to, whilst you're fighting down this beast simultaneously, right? It's almost like, oh, I don't have the energy to do the both things, right? But again, this is a lie. It's your brain trying to keep you safe, yeah? It's too hard to do it both, yeah? Just throw the towel in, just go back, right? And so we've got to stay vigilant, right? Recovery is about vigilance as much as anything else. Vigilance, commitment, and just ongoing, like looking out for what's next, where are the potential pitfalls, what do we really want, where are we going with this, right? Just staying on point with our own recovery and holding ourselves accountable, yeah? Like there are people like me that will hold you accountable all day long, but ultimately you are accountable to yourself and to God or source, creator, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's it. That is it. And so the way that this has manifested in my life is that it's made me really aggy. It's made me short-tempered. It's made me tired. And that in turn has made me aggy and short-tempered and frustrated. And, you know, just generally feeling like, ugh, right, is how I can best describe it. And it's been so tempting. I'm not going to lie. It's been so tempting to go, do you know what? Fuck this shit, right? And just go back there. It would have been so easy. I could easily have done that and probably kept it a secret if I really wanted to, although that's not who I am, not anymore. And so I've had to fight this battle and it's taken every ounce of me, right? Every ounce of my energy, every ounce of my strength, my resilience, my self-discipline, my courage, and my faith to sit here today knowing that I'm on top of it, yeah? Like yesterday, I knew I was on top of it. I wasn't going to go back. However, I was far from on top of it in terms of my mindset and my mood. You know, I was really, really frustrated. I was very emotional and I was very on edge. Yeah. And the way that manifests was that I had an argument with my mum. Now, we have triggers, things that trigger us. And the reason that they trigger us is because we've got something inside of us that we haven't yet healed, something that we haven't yet looked at, something that we haven't processed or let go of or forgiven or whatever it might be. Yeah, this can look different for everybody. Yeah. So what happens is we are triggered by something, right? So, for example, I don't know, my son doesn't listen to me. I'm triggered by that, right? And it's easy to think on the face of it that the reason you're losing your shit and the reason that you're pissed off is because your son isn't listening to you, yeah? But the truth is that actually what's going on is that it's triggering something inside you that you haven't healed or let go of that happened a long time ago. So we get distracted by what's happening in front of us and try and remedy that when the reality is that it's something deeper than that. Okay, so the work is to kind of ask yourself, okay, what's going on for me? Why am I so pissed off that he's not listening to me? Yeah, of course it's annoying having to say the same thing 43,000 billion times. I get that, right? But why? What am I making it mean about me? Well, further introspection reveals things like, well, I'm making it mean that I'm not important, that I'm not worthy of listening to. I'm making it mean that I've got no control over this situation. I'm making it mean that I have no authority. And if I have no authority, therefore I'm a bad mum, right? And so what starts off as him not listening to me and seeming like a really simple reason to be pissed off, once you actually look deeper into it, you start to see, oh, okay, this is because I feel like I'm failing as a mum. This is because I feel like I'm not being heard. I'm being ignored, and that hurts. So then you start to ask yourself, okay, when did this first happen? When do I first recall being ignored or feeling like I wasn't important? And it's that thing that you need to heal and release and process. And then the next time your son ignores you, it's probably still going to get on your tits. Let's be real here. Yeah. But less so. And the more that we are able to look at and identify the reasons and the root causes of the things that are triggering us, the less we're triggered, right? And so really our triggers are blessings. Yeah. They help us to identify that there are things that we need to look at or things that need to be brought to the surface, right? So I've been triggered to fuck recently, the last 2 weeks. I've had a really difficult relationship at times with my mum, and, I have struggled with it, and I'm quite open about that. Now, is that her fault? No, right? And is it my fault? No, it's not, right? And so what I have to do is be able to say to myself, okay, what are the things I can control? What are the things that are in my control? What am I responsible for here? Yeah. And I'm responsible for my responses. So even if I feel rejected, even if I feel misunderstood, that's no excuse for me to be a bitch. That's no excuse for me to be snappy and rude and irritable and disrespectful. Right. And so I have to take ownership of those things. Yeah. And am I willing to communicate and say, look, these are the things that are bothering me, and this is why, in a way that is not offensive, in a way that is open to not correction, but open to being realigned. Yeah. Am I doing those things? No, I wasn't. Right. And so yesterday I really, really struggled hard. I just was listening to this addiction just shouting and screaming at me, right? But I knew I wasn't going to go back. But that in turn was making me more frustrated. It was like addiction was saying to me, Sarah, just fucking get on it, right? But then the real me, the true me was like, well, you're not going to do that. So, hello, right? And so then addiction is like, just fucking do it, right? And the real me knows that that's not an option. And so now I'm stuck in this place where I'm listening to this voice and I'm listening to this voice. And it's just like, right? I know which voice is going to win, but the desire to get on it, the urge to get on it is so strong. And knowing that I'm not going to do it is doubly frustrating because it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make it go away. So then you're stuck in this place where the voice is screaming at you. You're not going to cave in, which is a blessing. But at the same time, you've still got to listen to this fucker, right? And it's hard work. It's hard work. The way that this played out for me yesterday was that I went out and bought cigarettes. Now, I haven't smoked really for about a month. Yeah. And it was just like self-sabotage. And that was the way that it came out. Now, I'd much rather smoke a cigarette than sniff a line all day long, right? I have no intentions of going back to full-time smoking. Thank you, Steve. No intentions of going back to full-time smoking. However, I recognise that I needed an outlet yesterday. And whilst I'm not advocating caving into addiction of any kind, what I am an advocate of is mitigating the disaster. Okay. And so I knew that something needed to happen. That thing was that I was going to have a fag, right? Which to my mind is much better than going out and getting high. Yeah. Maybe that's addiction logic. I don't freaking know. But there you go. That's what happened. And so being able to observe myself in all of this process is really, really helpful to me. Yeah. And it's something that I've learned to do through my coaching, through my self-development work, through becoming curious about who I am and what makes me tick and what has set me on this path in the first place, and really getting to know who Sarah is at the core. Now, this has been one hell of a journey because I had no idea who I was just 15 months ago, right? And, I'm working with a client now who is kind of 1 foot in addiction and 1 foot in recovery, and that's okay, right? I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm not here to make you quit doing drugs, right? Or to quit drinking or to quit whatever it is that you're doing, yeah? I am a recovery coach, so my focus is on recovery. But I'm not here to say to you, right, well, you had a line this week, so you can just go and do one. You're obviously not listening to me. That's not what it's about, okay? It's about meeting people where they are at, okay? So this client I've been working with, albeit they haven't been able to abstain fully, what they have done is raise their own self-awareness. What they have done is seen that when they do stop using or slow down their using, that things dramatically freaking improve. What they have done is recognize their own thinking, their own triggers, their own behaviors. They've identified what it is that set them off on this path, what it means to them. They can see the lies that addiction feeds them. They've cut down on their using. Even when they are picking up, they're picking up less, right? And all of these things, and that is the work that I do at this moment in time. Now, whilst I was working with this client, I really suddenly became aware that I wanted to really get clear on my own framework. And by that, what I mean is that I wanted to really understand what it is that I do and how, right? And what suddenly came downloaded to me, by which I mean, I'm a very spiritual soul, hence the recovery witch, yeah? And I am very in tune with my intuition and, kind of listen to my inner guidance and download messages that are the things that I'm meant to share. And this is why I'm able to come on here today and just speak openly from the heart without any kind of preparation or vague idea what's going to come out of my mouth, because I trust that the messages are going to be downloaded through me, channeled through me, and delivered to you. And the right person is going to hear it in the right way at the right time. You might not be with me right now as this is going live. You might hear this at a later date. And if that's the case, then this is the message that you needed right in this moment. Okay. So I created this framework based on what I do, right? So I was working with this client and working with myself. God, I really believe that these trials and tribulations are given to me to help me to stay grounded, to remember where I came from, to show me how easy it is to fall off the track, to be able to help myself, and in doing so, be able to help others by using true stories, real life examples, yeah? By keeping me in the trenches with you so that this shit is real, yeah? Like, I'm not in front of you, I'm beside you. And that's what a recovery coach is, yeah? They will walk with you for your recovery. I can't do it for you, and I don't expect you to do it for me. But know that I'm here, yeah? Know that I'm here. If you've got any questions for me today, as Steve is saying on the bottom of the screen there, go ahead and share any questions, any queries, any suggestions, whatever it is that you want to feel called to share. Go ahead and do so. And if you're catching this on YouTube at a later date, go ahead and put a comment in the box, okay? Share the love. So the framework, right, came to me in the form of an acronym, okay? And the acronym is Recover You, yeah? Recover You. Because those of you that follow me, again, will know that I often talk about how recovery is not just about abstaining from drugs or, stopping drinking. It's about recovering all those lost parts of yourself that have been stamped on, suppressed, pushed down, ignored, invalidated for all of the years that you were in active addiction. So recovering you is a massive part of recovery, yeah, as far as I'm concerned. And so this acronym made perfect sense when it was downloaded into my brain. So here's what it is, okay? So the first R is about releasing yourself from addiction, yeah? And this is what I work with my clients on in my recovery coaching, is really releasing that need to be addicted, releasing yourself from that cycle of addiction, okay? E is for educate yourself. Educate yourself. Find out who you are, right? What makes you tick? What are you capable of, right? What's held you back, okay? And this is really about growth, okay? C is about change the things that are in your control. Right now, we can't control the people around us. We can't control how they respond to us. We can't control, all of the things that unfold in a day, but we can control our responses, whether that be our verbal responses, our physical responses, our actions. Yeah. So yesterday, my response could have been to go and get on it, but it wasn't, right? Because I controlled the things that were in my control. O is for open yourself up to new ways of thinking, new ways of living, new possibilities, freaking new life. Okay. V is for values. What are your values, right? Reevaluate them, or really pay attention to what they are in the first place. Maybe you don't even know what your values are. I know I certainly didn't when I first went into recovery. Okay. So like my values now are to show up with integrity. My values are about honesty and fun and transparency. My values are about connection. Yeah. Seeking out people to serve, right? To get to know them. And this isn't about sales, right? This is about how can I help you? How can you help me? Right? Can we maybe refer business to each other? Can we maybe be friends and meet up for coffee every now and again? Can we whatever, can I find speaking gigs for you? Can I put you in touch with somebody that knows somebody who can do this for you, etc.? Yeah. Connection is key, and it's the opposite of addiction, right? Where am I up to? E, evolution. Okay. Evolution over a lifetime, personal growth. Right? This is a massive part of recovery coaching for me and for my clients. Okay. It really is about understanding more about the things it's about personal growth. Okay. And what I mean by that is about pushing the boundaries. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, right? And learning new stuff and seeing, okay, actually, maybe I am really, really good at teaching Hebrew. Maybe I am really good at teaching football. Maybe I am really good at, I don't know, insert thing. Okay. And so these are the things that we explore inside of recovery coaching. Okay. So the final R in recover is rise up as this new version of you. Yeah. Claim the life that you didn't know was possible for you, because that's what it is. It's a new life. Recovery is a new life. Yeah. So that's the recover acronym. And U is, so Y is for you get to choose. You get to choose, right? We forget this when we're in active addiction, right? The drugs choose us. The booze chooses us, right? In recovery, you get to choose. You get to choose how you show up. You get to choose to be an active participant in your recovery. You get to choose what life you really want to live. Yeah, that is so powerful. The O is for overcome your past. Overcome your past, set yourself free. What has been holding you back? What are the stories? What are the things that you've believed that you need to let go of? And U is for understand yourself. Understanding myself has been one of the most instrumental things in my recovery. Okay, so this is about, your triggers, your needs. What are your desires? What do you need to stay on track? These are all things that we go into when you work with a recovery coach, when you work with me. Okay. So on the back of that, what I've been doing this week is really thinking about, how are the ways that I can best serve people? What are the things that really fill my cup? Because when my cup is full, that means it ripples out to all of you guys. Okay. And so what I realized is that connection is really, really important to me, and just having conversations with people. Now, again, it's what I just spoke about. It's not necessarily about sales. Yes, you might become a client of mine, but you know what? You might end up being able to host a podcast and have me as a guest on there, or I might invite you to be a guest on my podcast right here on Diary of a Cocaine Addict. You might know somebody that really needs my help, or I might know somebody that really needs yours. Yeah, this isn't necessarily a business thing. This is just literally connecting with people, right? Because when we can meet people where they're at, when we can understand more about what goes on outside of ourselves, well, we're better equipped to be able to help. Yeah. And I know that for me, recovery and being of service is a massive way that I stay on track. Okay. So I'm really excited to be able to offer get to know you calls, right? These are free, obviously, because it's an exercise in just getting to know you. There is no ulterior motive here. I literally just want to understand more about people and, speak on a deeper level than a quick comment on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is. Okay. It's about just having that little 30-minute connection time face to face. Okay. Hey, how are you? Who are you? What's going on for you right now? And vice versa. And then see where it takes us. And maybe it doesn't go anywhere, and that's cool as well. Yeah. But I love to get to know you. And connection is so important, especially in recovery. Okay. So if this message has resonated with you at all today, please reach out to me. Okay. My email is the recoverywitch2911@gmail.com. You will find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, all of the platforms, on YouTube as the Recovery Witch. And I'm here on the Crossroads podcast as well. Okay. So on that note, I want to say a massive thank you to Steve and his team for hosting me here. I really freaking appreciate it. It's so valuable to have a platform where I can get this message out, where people can come and know that they are safe, that they are seen, that they are heard. And the work that Steve and his team does in the background is immense. And so I want to take a moment to just shout them out right now. If you're not following the page on YouTube or here on Facebook, give it a like, give it a share. The more that people are able to access this information, the better, right? And I know that Crossroads podcast has all sorts of different content, right? It's not purely my show. It covers all different areas. So please get yourselves dialed in today, and tag the people that need to hear these messages. All right. Over and out from me today. This has been Diary of a Cocaine Addict. I will be back next Friday with an interview. I don't know who that's going to be yet, so watch this space. But do go ahead, give this show a like and a share, and make sure that the people that need this message are getting to hear it. Adios, folks. Bye-bye.